PC 747. A couple days out now from getting my phone. Last I checked, it was currently in Illinois. But as I'm driving around and got a chance to think about some of the news that was presented the past week, as Google has been in the spotlight, and I don't think it was the way they would want to be in the spotlight. The news that came out on a Pixel 2 XL, or Pixel, and a Pixel as well, Pixel 2 had some issues too. It just was not quite good this week. Some of it I think it may have been overblown hype, and others are obviously warranted. Now, I want to start with something that I sort of hinted on last week when I was talking about the whole display issue when it first got brought to the news. And at first, because one of the things I noticed, especially with Nexus phones, and even with LG as well, going all the way back to the LG Nexus 5, LG haven't really had the smoothest of releases when it comes to phones. With the Nexus 5, I still remember, complaints of the quality control where they found glue kind of covering the speakers, and it was kind of making the sound a little muted. Obviously, a couple people, when they tore apart the phone, they noticed that and, found fixes to it. Some people were willing to fix it on their own. But as a result, LG got it fixed. And the Nexus 5 went on to become one of the best Nexus devices today. And like I said, I ain't gonna say controversy, but the issues with Nexus don't stop there. The Nexus 6 had a quality control issue with the back panel was glued on there, and they had a couple people who had theirs just come off out of nowhere. Obviously, it was a small number. They got it fixed. It wasn't a problem. Nexus 6B had an issue where the back glass was cracking. Matter of fact, I know a member of the forum, he had that issue. Got it replaced. Good. So my point in the matter of this is that QC issues do happen as far as with phones. And, look, for those who are affected by it, yes, it's frustrating. You got your new device, you're ready to play with it, you got it all set up, and to have to pretty much do a factory reset and box it up, send it back, and wait again for another device, hoping that the next one end up being smooth, is a frustrating ordeal, I understand. But Google is not the only phone or issue. Google phones are not the only phones that have this issue. Apple's had it before, Samsung had it. So we got to kind of give them a little slack there. Now, as far as the other issue, let's start with the blue tint. For some, that may not be a big issue. And I think for that, it's going to depend on, one, how bad it is as far as on the display. Like I said, I personally haven't got my device. I saw the one in Verizon, but like others have shown or have said before, it's one thing to see it in the Verizon, it's another thing to have to deal with it yourself, especially if you have it on a daily. So that could change. Hopefully the one I get is not as bad, but I've heard and read about people who had some really, really bad issues there. And the Google coming out saying it's not an issue. Look, obviously for some it is an issue, and that's going to be something that I think Google will have to address going forward. Especially, I know they will with future phones, but this is obviously something that it's causing some concerns, and we'll have to see if this end up being pretty much Google's Note 5. I don't think it'll be that bad, or Note 7, correct? I don't think it'll be that bad because let's be honest, I read somewhere with somebody talking about Google need to recall a Pixel 2 XL. Look, until people start getting hurt, until the phone starts coming apart and actually presenting harm to people, that's not going to happen, and I don't really think it needs to. Like I said, so some of this stuff is more of a software issue than hardware. As far as the blue tint, we know that's a hardware thing because it's the layer that they put on top of the screen. Now, I think that it would be nice if Google offered the option to be able to buy one without that layer for those that wanted to. But I think right now they are too far forward with this device as far as manufacturing. So it's going to be one of those things. If you can handle it, keep it. If not, you're probably going to end up switching out for either the Pixel 2 or or hold on to your current device and wait for next year's device, where I am pretty sure we're not going to see this issue anymore. The other concern was with the muted colors, and I brought that up last week, and I did say a couple things on that. First, as it turns out, one thing that I found out to be correct there is that yes, it ended up being as a result of Google trying to force the market to adapt and change the colors as far as their website. In other words, they're trying to make a change to the way things are going. That's kind of similar to how Apple did that, where they removed their headphone jacks. Now, for a lot of people, that's a step that's just like, look, we understand what you're trying to do, but you're trying to push that on us too hard. And obviously, Google realized that. They already plan on, with the update, pretty much allowing people to bring back those vivid colors that they like. Now, on the muted colors, one of the things I was concerned about was the simple fact that I felt like maybe Google was trying to hide something in the fact that they did not allow that box to be unchecked. But apparently for right now, it looks like that they were able to, obviously our developer crowd found a way to kick out an app where you can bring those vivid colors to your phone. And so far, I haven't read anything bad coming out where the display is any worse, or something came out where it turned out that Google was trying to hide something. So far, hearing that is the case, I'm excited about that. I'm kind of glad that's one less concern I have to have as far as when I get that device. Overall, when we look at this whole product, Google going from the Nexus line to the Pixel line, and the idea of doing that was because they wanted to make a device that was more premium. For one, I'm one of those people who am glad that Google did that. I remember back during the Nexus 5 and the Nexus 6, I made a point in saying that I was glad that Google was doing more premium devices. Don't get me wrong, I love the Nexus line of phones. I understand they were going cheaper, but obviously when you go cheaper, you got to cut corners somewhere. And look, you're in the business of making money. So I'm okay with Google going more premium. In fact, I applaud that. The thing is, once you decide to get in that realm and you want to compete with Apple and Samsung, you got to be willing to deal with what comes along with the scrutiny. And you got to be on your A game. It can't be any excuses. It can't be this, well, it's not that bad, or we're not going to live up to this specs, or so on. There has to be something that, again, not only sets you apart, but it has to be able to justify somebody willing to spend that type of money for your device. When someone go into a carrier store or Best Buy or look online now, and they are pricing phones, why would they choose your device over the competitor? Why do I choose, let's say, the Pixel over the Note? Now, for me, the reason why I go Google is because, for one, I like pure Google software. I like that it doesn't have any touch widget or bloat on there that slows the device down. My Nexus P right now, 6P, is currently running 8.1, and it just feels even faster. And that's one of the things that I really like about Google software, is that similar to Apple, 2 years out, your phone continue to feel just as smooth as when you bought it, if not smoother at times. So that is something that appeals to me when it comes to Google devices. With that said, I have to agree with some of the criticism in the fact that, alright, Google, you've done this for a while now. You know the complaints that people have. You know the complaints that people had with Samsung, with all the other manufacturers out there. And you know once you put out a phone that's charging people X amount of dollars, they're going to have a certain expectation on the hardware side and the software side. Now, the software side, you guys got that on lock. You're doing a good job there. The hardware side, you have to do a better job there. There cannot be any excuses when it comes to hardware. There can't be this, we left this out, or we didn't feel like this needed to be there. If Samsung and Apple have a certain IP rating, and you're about to charge the same amount as them, you need to have that similar IP rating. As far as the headphone jack, I'm willing to go either way there. But the fact that there's too many things being left out of the devices now. Everything from an SD card, headphone jacks. Yes, you're going to have people wanting to know, why am I spending this amount of money for your product? And it can't be just because the name Google is on it. Especially when you have competition out there that are doing it much cheaper. So as far as that is concerned, I really hope Google really step up to the plate there and fixing that and really getting their hardware game on lock. I'm not saying they need to go as far as being the innovators like Samsung, though I wish they would, but they need to be on par with Samsung and with Apple putting out. There cannot be that big of a disparity between one device and another. And the one device I want to point out to that has to be the Pixel 2. There is no excuse for that device looking that way. That device should be on par, looking very similar to the 2XL. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking if that device were similar to the 2XL, that'd probably have been the top selling device for them. For me in particular, I was looking forward to going back to a smaller device, but there was just no way I was going to buy that device when my biggest complaint last year was about the bezels, and I felt like between Google and HTC, that Pixel 2 was pretty much a slap in the face there. Now, another topic of discussion I want to bring up is the simple fact, Google, you are still having a hard time with selling your devices. Getting them out there. When I say selling, I don't mean like selling, but dealing with the surge of orders. You know people are coming out there for this device, and yet you are still having a hard time stocking and getting these devices out there. There are people who are waiting weeks, almost a month, for devices they already ordered to get shipped to them. You knew this phone was coming out on a certain amount of date. You would think you guys would be prepared by now. You guys have to have a better system there. Now, to be fair, they have improved a lot, because back with the Nexus 6, when you were trying to order a phone on their website, their site would crash. So you have something in the cart and you go to order it and gone. So they fixed that part there. So kudos there on them fixing that, but they still have ways to go. Look, I'm not saying that they won't sell out, because we're seeing right now with the iPhone X that device is currently on back order all the way to December. Now, obviously, news came out that Apple already kind of knew that may be the case because of material issues and getting the devices built. And plus, you got to look at also for however many devices you build, you got to build an excess of it to cover RMAs and all the other things that comes up, such as warranty, like obviously warranty issues, similar to what Google is dealing with now. In fact, I think a lot of the reason why they're having a hard time fulfilling it on this go around is because of all of the returns that are going on right now with the Pixel 2 XL, with people complaining that this is an issue, this is an issue, this is an issue, and some of them I believe are really issues. Some of the people that brought up their points and was getting ragged about it on the forums, I have to say just kind of calm down on ragging them, because yes, Google and LG together have had a history of devices being released with issues, which I pointed out earlier in this vlog. Anyway, guys, I look forward to getting my Pixel 2 XL in hand. share my thoughts on it. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited that Google is continuing to build and go in the realm of having premium devices. It's been a rocky release so far, but I think it'll smooth out in due time. I think this could be similar to like the Nexus 5, where this could end up being one of the best devices that Google put out. Yes, the issues with the blue tint may become a problem for some, but I can see it being maybe good for others. Because, yeah, I mean, when you're using your device, some of us are pretty kind of, especially when we got larger phones, yeah, some of us like to kind of be, I ain't say clandestine, but don't like people looking over and seeing what's on the display or what's going on, whatever. So maybe having that little blue tint, whatever, gets served more of like a privacy filter or something. For others, obviously, I can see it being an annoyance. Until I get it in hand and play with it, I cannot obviously comment on how good or how bad it is. I think it's really unfair for me to do that, because being someone who had the Galaxy Nexus back in the day, and I was one of those people who had issues with their LTE, and I've been through 4 or 5 of them, and watching the forum just unload on people because they felt like people were just whining about it, and it's like, no, people are actually having real issues. So I've been on that side of the issue there. So yeah, I'd say for something like that, people having issues, I think you have to be kind of willing to understand that, hey, not everybody not people just making stuff up, not everybody just whining. People are actually having real issues, and unless you're one of those people actually having it, you can't really just fault somebody. You just can't look at somebody like, hey, look, just take it and accept it. It's $1,000 that people are spending for these devices. So if it's not up to their specifications, return it. They have a right to complain about it. Now, Google extending their warranty an extra year, I think that's pretty big right there. Hopefully, like I said, it end up turning out where it will not become an issue. This don't end up becoming like a Note 7 issue, where it gets so out of control, where Google end up finding themselves trying to figure out what they're going to do next. But I think a lot of this will calm down. Anyway, PC747, I'm out.